All right, folks, we're back. We're working on this truck. Don't it look great? Wish it ran great. Say hey, Donnie.
Hey, y'all. I see on my analytics that 68% of y'all are not subscribed.
Donnie's kind of new word.
Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already.
Subscribe to the channel, people. Now, is that too much to ask them?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Why are we filming this stuff, Donnie?
Well,
we don't have to.
Eventually, there's going to be a monetary gain, I hope. Subscribe to the channel, people. Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up. Okay, so we're working on this truck. Now, let me review for a second. Okay? In case people are tuning in new, Donnie. Yeah, we're picking up new people all the time.
Yeah, we are. And I appreciate that very much.
Yes. So this is my arcade hauling truck. It's a 1986 GMC Sierra Classic. It's got a lift gate on it. I love the thing. So I have two trucks. I also have an 83 Silverado that I drive. I like the old cars, like I like the old arcade games and stuff. So anyway, my other one needs the engine rebuilt. Really, it's starting to be pretty damn bad. But this one also had a lot of problems. So I took this one to a guy, had him rebuild the engine. It's got a 400 small block in it, which is not the original engine. Originally, it had like a 305, we think. But years ago, it had this 400 swapped into it. So we took this 400 out, had it rebuilt, put it back in. The guy never could get it running right. So then we took it from him and took it to another mechanic. That mechanic could not get it running right. It does run, but it ain't right. So now, Donnie has to do it. So we're figuring out the deal. So on the last video, or a couple videos ago, Donnie didn't like the aluminum intake that somebody had put on it, so we put a nice old school cast iron intake on it there. Look how nice it looks. The engine's been rebuilt. It's got a brand new carburetor on it, all of that. So in today's video, it's up and running, but it doesn't idle right. It just ain't right. So today's video, we are going to set the timing.
We hope.
We hope. Does your gun, Donnie, you said that's the nicest gun ever. Does it do RPMs?
No. It does not do RPMs, but it does do vacuum advance.
It does vacuum advance.
Or dwell advance, whatever.
Dwell advance. Okay, so I've been looking it up online. And the people are telling me, now Donnie is a mechanic, but some of this stuff, it's different. Everybody's got a different opinion on it. So the people are telling me that the way you want to set timing on this thing is you want it to be about 32 before top dead center when it's up at RPM. So whenever it's 2,500, 3,000 RPMs, you want it to get up to 32. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to, so the initial timing you set to basically, so you got to set it with the vacuum advance off. But you set the initial timing to, what did they say? I made a cheat sheet here, people. This right here, all of this. We are also going to adjust the carburetor, but we're going to do that on a completely different video. Y'all gonna have to wait on that. So there, from what my notes online, 32 before top dead center at the higher RPMs. We want the idle at about 800, and that's going to put our initial timing at somewhere between 4 degrees and 12 degrees before top dead center. We want the vacuum advance disconnected and the hole plugged whenever we're checking that at idle. Okay, and then we got to talk about the vacuum too, Donnie. We want to do that ahead of time, or we want to do the timing first?
Well, we're probably going to have to do it ahead of time
so that
we get the timing right.
Yeah, so that we can do it at RPM. Okay, so here's the deal with the timing. I'm going to read you...
The
vacuum, I'm sorry. I'm going to read you all about the vacuum as we understand it. Are you ready for story time, Donnie?
Story time in the barn.
We used to go to an auction and the guy would sell grab bags, and so he'd always say, "It's grab bag time in the auction barn." So, while I was perusing the internet late last night, I found this guy who said he used to work for GM. Now, that doesn't mean you can just trust anything anybody says, but I like the way this guy was talking. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to follow his advice. You cool with that, Donnie?
Hell, might as well.
Donnie's cool with it. So here's what the guy said. So people are on there asking about the difference between ported vacuum and manifold vacuum. Okay? Because nobody knows where the hell to hook the distributor up to the vacuum lines on the carburetor. So the best I can tell, there are 4 vacuum lines, 4 vacuum ports. There's one in the back that hooks up to the power brakes. We got that one. So that one's right.
Yep.
There's this one in the front that's right in the middle that's usually hooked up to the PCV valve, positive crankcase ventilation. So we got that right. And then here's the big stickler. The distributor. Now, wait a minute. What did you say about the transmission? It's supposed to have one too, and on some cars?
I don't know. This might be a electronic overdrive. It might not have it. But if it is a Turbo 300 or a Turbo 400, it will have a vacuum on the right-hand side of the transmission all the way in the back, and it comes up and goes directly into the intake.
Okay. We do not see that vacuum line, so we believe this is not that transmission, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So if it doesn't have that, it wouldn't shift right, basically, right?
Yes.
In the overdrive.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, it changes it's all shift points.
Okay. So you may have that situation, or we may have that situation.
We drove it.
But what we're going to mess with first is the damn distributor, okay? There are 2 more ports on this carburetor. And so these Edelbrocks, a lot of people put them on all kinds of engines, but this is also true of pretty much any carburetor. So you see one port here has the distributor hooked up to it, and one port here is capped off. This one port, see how it's lower than the other one? So this one is down lower. Whoop, if I can find my finger. This one's down lower. It's below the throttle plates, which means that right now it's connected to the manifold. So it's part of, there's a line that goes down. It's part of whatever the vacuum is in the manifold. They call that manifold vacuum. This one is up above the throttle plates. They call that ported vacuum. So I found this. So everybody's saying, which one am I supposed to hook my HEI? That's an HEI distributor, right? Which one am I supposed to put my HEI distributor up to? And I found this gentleman who used to work for GM, and he's going to explain it all. Are you ready? Story time is here. Now, to the widely misunderstood manifold versus ported vacuum aberration. After 30-40 years of controlling vacuum advance with full manifold vacuum, along came emissions requirements. Donnie, you don't like emissions.
Nope.
Emission requirements. Years before catalytic converter technology had been developed, and all manner of crude Band-Aid systems were developed to try and reduce hydrocarbons and oxides of nitrogen in the exhaust stream. One of these Band-Aids was ported spark. So they're talking about at idle. Now, so at idle, that plate is pretty much closed. But whenever you get on it and you're driving, the plate opens, which means that the manifold and that vacuum are the same, because the plate opens and they're in the same cavity then. Okay. One of these Band-Aids was ported spark, which moved the vacuum pickup orifice in the carburetor venturi from below the throttle plate, where it was exposed to full manifold vacuum at idle, to above the throttle plate, where it saw no manifold vacuum at all at idle. This meant the vacuum advance was inoperative at idle, which retarded the spark timing from its optimum value, and these applications also had very low initial static timing, usually 4 degrees or less, and some actually were set at 2 degrees after top dead center. This was done in order to increase exhaust gas temperature because it lit the fire later, to improve the effectiveness of the afterburning of hydrocarbons by the air injected into the exhaust manifolds by the air system. As a result, these engines ran like shit, and an enormous amount of wasted heat energy was transferred through the exhaust port walls into the coolant, causing them to run hot at idle. Cylinder pressure fell off, engine temperatures went up, combustion efficiency went down the drain, and fuel economy went down with it. So what he's saying is,
Exactly what my 454 is doing.
I know, I think that's what they're all doing. I think we're going to fix every car we've got. He's saying that they do it like that because of emissions crap, but what it's doing is it's changing so at idle, it's changing when the damn gas is detonated, because it doesn't allow the distributor to advance at idle at all, which means you're sitting real low. And the reason they did that was so that it ignited later, so that more of it didn't get in the tailpipe and all this stuff. As soon as you get on it, It's smoother. What did I say last week when we were messing with this one? It felt smooth as hell when I was in it. But if you let it get down to idle, it idles like hell. And so person after person after person is saying, where you got your vacuum? Where you got your vacuum? Where you got your vacuum? They're saying if you've got the vacuum on the ported, which we do, that it'll run like hell. And if you put it down on the manifold one, it'll run a hell of a lot better. So that's what we're going to do. But first, we've got to do the timing. But I guess we'll go ahead and move it over so that we can test it. So I'm going to move the damn hose over if it's long enough, hopefully. And it's looking suspect, but we'll see. We'll move it over to the other one, and then we'll cap off that one. And then we're going to try to get this thing up and running. Now, how much did you say the timing was at last week?
When I started, it was at 60,000.
It was at 60 before top dead center.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be at 32 before top dead center whenever you're fully in it. So we're getting up to 60. So that's timing wasn't right. But then you adjusted it down.
Yeah, I think I got it. What's that gun set at? I think I've got it about 15.
But that's probably at idle.
Yes.
We're going to do it at top speed. So basically, you set the initial timing by twisting the distributor, and so maybe you got it 10 before top dead center. Okay, and then the vacuum pulls it farther. So once you hook the vacuum back up, since we're putting it on manifold vacuum, it'll start pulling it immediately. It should be once you get up to your cruising speed, if you're going 65, 70 miles an hour, which would probably be 3,000, 3,500 RPM, something like that. Once you get up to that speed, you want it to be firing at about 32 before top dead center. They said that's where 400s are happy. This one's been overboard a little bit though. It's 40 over. I don't know if that changes it.
It won't change it much.
You don't think so?
No.
So we're going to try to set the damn thing at 32 before top dead center whenever it's at high RPM. We're also going to switch the vacuum line to manifold vacuum instead of porta vacuum to see if that makes the idle better. After we do all that, we're going to mess with the carburetor a little bit too, but we'll do that in a different video. So we'll switch that hose and then I'll get it and start it and we'll see what we can set it at.
All right, Donnie's trying to check it. Check it there, Donnie. Oh, we can see it. Kind of.
Right there. About 21 or 22 at idle.
So with the vacuum on, we're at about 21 at idle. And when we rev it up, we were up to 35, which is a little bit higher than we wanted. But it's idling. You think it's idling better?
It's idling now. You ain't having to down in there notes.
I think it's idling a hell of a lot better, but we've got other issues. I don't think the carburetor's adjusted right. And we've got crazy freaking... it's smoke, but the smoke has like a rich smell in it. I think it's burning old gas. Look how the damn fuel filter looks. Actually, it's cleaning up, Donnie.
It was orange.
Yeah, the fuel filter, the gas was orange. We've diluted it with some new fuel, but I think we've got suspect fuel, and I think our carburetor needs adjustment. So that's our next thing. But I think we've got the timing better at least. So people down below, leave your comments. Let us know if you think that's right, that it should be, it's more about what it's at cruising speed. You're looking for about 32. We got it to 35. I guess we could go down a little bit more, but...
We're going to check this and see what it does and we'll run it out.
Yeah, I kind of, since we've got it idling, I kind of want to get the damn carburetor right. So we're going to do it next, and if we decide we need to mess with the timing some more, we will. But
We'll bring y'all back.
So, all right, Donnie. So tell them what to do.
Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. Give us a thumbs up for filming it, and we'll catch you on the next one.
We'll catch you on the next one. Leave your comments below. What do you think about timing on a 400? That's board 40 over. But we'll mess with the carburetor. So get ready for that video.